So AI is kind of taking over, right? But how do we overcome this or not let it take over us? And the way to win in this kind of, I don't know, race for dominance is just to be more human, more
Hmm.
dirty, more flawed, more authentic, because more gritty. Because I really had to face the past couple months, I've really been coming head to head with this AI and then having to make big decisions about my values and how I'm choosing to interact with it. So first it was just all the avatars, and we already made a couple videos about that, of like being like, how much do I use the filters, how much do I use the avatars? And at first it was kind of sneaking in on me, but then when it really came to the forefront, I was like, wait a minute, this is getting creepy. So I kind of
Creepy. That's it. That's the right word. Yeah, it is creepy.
backed off from that. But then I was experimenting with AI scripts because I just got this app that was to make the words below my speech so that it can be more easily understood and digested. And then it offered me AI scripts about healing, about coaching, about spirituality, even. And so I was like, what the heck? Like, what is this? Like, this seems interesting. It offered me pre-written scripts, and it offered me topics to keep writing about or speaking about. So I looked into it, I played, I entered all kinds of stuff into it. I let my friends enter stuff into it just to see, like, what does this AI produce? And it is really dry. It's really subpar.
Exactly. There's no love in it at all. You don't. Yeah, like you said. Oh yes, it's grammatically correct, but I've any script that I've seen, it just feels cold and dead, and that doesn't work for me at all. And I'm like, well, if it's not working for me, then it's not going to work for my people who are being sovereign humans, sovereign beings, connected to source. That's, yeah, that may be connected to source in some kind of way, but not genuinely. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And so the way for us to keep our jobs, and the way for us to, like, as coaches, as writers, as creators, the way to continue to thrive is to be more human, less
Mm.
perfect, because I was thinking about it as I was when I was really coming to face the filters and stuff, and I was like, okay, is this something I want to use or not? And I thought about who I actually follow online. And they were all very flawed human beings. They were not the most model looking human beings. And I really believe that in the new paradigm that we're going into, this age of Aquarius, it is, there's no model for beauty. It's really diversity. It's
Exactly.
really our own sovereignty shining through that makes us beautiful.
Exactly. Enough of the fakeness. Like the fakeness brought us here. The fakeness brought us to that transhumanist type thing where, well, there's a lot of Americans here. I'm American, so I'm not saying bad to America, but like all the women look the same. They all have that like like the dark face, like they all look the same, and it's like they look transhuman to me, and I was like, this has been part of the play. Get them used to the filters, get them used to sticking toxic shit in their faces, get them used to all looking the same, where they want to all look the same. Do they really want to look the same? But I think it's a mental illness as well. They've been programmed to believe that that's acceptable as beauty. And it's fake as fuck. Everything's fake. It's all fake. And
Yeah.
it's so against, it especially makes me laugh, and they're like, oh, self-love. I'm like, girl, you don't love yourself. Really fucking obvious, right? It takes us so far away. Oh, what did I? Because yes, the AI. Well, I've been saying this. The AI is the Antichrist because it's against Christ consciousness. It takes you away from your soul values. Because you said values earlier. Once you know your soul values, it's just like, okay, maybe I'll play with you, but you're not me. You're not replacing me. No freaking way. And that's what you said that split is. Yet another bifurcation. And we do have to choose sides. Yes, we are all one. On the grand scale, we all come from, everything comes from source, but this is a spiritual war, so we do have to choose sides.
But I see the way, I mean, I don't have this like crystal clear. I think that there's still a number of different timelines that could play out. But when I
Oh yeah.
feel into my own body as Mother Earth, sometimes when I go into my womb, I feel this like genocidal like volcano who just wants to like erupt all over the whole earth and just burn it all down and start over. But then I remember that's not actually how it's going to go down in the new paradigm. The new paradigm is it requires a lot of forgiveness. And so even just in my own body, transitioning as a piece of Mother Earth, as a piece of this evolution, this is like a phase or an initiation that I have to go through of releasing of like massively forgiving so that I can get through the eye of the needle even when I want to burn it all down. Because times when I have really intense meditations of like burning it all down, I actually have to be there for it. So like if I burn it all down, I also burn myself down. So for creating the new paradigm, it's going to require a lot more lightness, but not lightness as in bypassing, but a lightness as like an ability to sit deep in the messiness and to bring lightness into that through humor and through forgiveness. And I'm saying this to myself because this is what I'm working on now. Because when I do go into my meditations and I breathe deeply into my womb, she just a lot of times what I hear is that she wants to burn it all down. But I don't believe that that's a timeline that's going to actually manifest for Earth. Although,
yeah, well, you know, yeah, exactly. No, I don't believe that it's all going to burn down either. That's why we're still here, right? Like, why else would we be? If it's going to burn down, just surrender to it and go, oh, I'll just get it over with. No, that's why we're here. Um, yeah, but well, that's part of that dark goddess energy, isn't it? Because there is some what's the word? There is some value in wanting to burn down what's unjust, right? There is absolute value in that. I'm thinking of Lilith, that dark goddess Lilith, or Kali, the destroyer. Yeah, you can destroy shit that's not right. So there is value in that.
it's just really intense. It's really intense to be Kali. I know. I mean, it's not like I would rather be lounging by the beach sipping coconuts than like destroying shit, really, honestly.
Yeah, okay, but like somebody asked me this a while ago. Because of course, oh, we're empath, oh, we're divine beings, oh, we just want to love everybody and blah blah blah. But like, if it came to it, if it came to it, and you were standing there with a sword, and there was like this unbelievably hideous pedophile that you had to like chop their head off in order for the world to be saved, would you be able to do it?
I don't think so.
I
I
did.
would,
I always thought that I couldn't. I always thought that I couldn't. I always thought, oh God, I don't, like the thought of like the thought of even like hurting someone makes me feel sick. But I think if it was the only thing that would save the children, I think I'd have to do it. And then
but
I'd
the
just
energy is still there. So like that doesn't actually transform the energy because there's no difference between them and us. And so the
true.
only way is through sending love. The only way to transform demons is through loving them. They're just under evolved. They're just like new souls who haven't empathized. Like that being needs to go
I
be on the go be raped for a few lifetimes
No,
before they
I completely
like,
get that in the bigger picture, but I'm saying if this was like say the end of the movie and like you had all these children and the only thing that was going to save these children was to chop the head off this demon, I think that I'd be able to do it. I never thought that I could, but I think that I would.
I think I would dream a different movie. I think I would like cre- create a rehabilitation center. Obviously, that person won't be rehabilitated in one lifetime, but it's going to take many lifetimes of like, they may create more terrible situations for themselves in other lives, most likely, so that they can learn. But I don't, I don't
I think
really
it was
want to,
I think it was kind of
I
getting
don't
into
really
that.
want to cut people's heads off.
No, nor do I. But I think it was just kind of, I was like asked the question. I think it was to kind of get into that energy of righteous anger.
Well, I guess I'm lying if I say I don't really want to chop people's heads off, because sometimes I do want to burn it all down. Hang on, I'm going to grab a photo. There's a
Exactly.
picture of them.
Exactly. It's that kind of like righteous anger energy. It's just like, "Argh!" Like, we want justice for all the wrongs. There's nothing wrong with wanting
She
that.
has all the heads.
See, exactly. She's got all the heads. Exactly. And she's got her tongue out and she's dancing and going, hey. Exactly. Look at her. Amazing. Amazing. Oops.
You're a little frozen.
Yeah, so
There,
you.
there.
Yeah, right. You're
Yeah.
back.
So okay. So like I think about my own family, right? Like let's just bring this down to the ground, really. Like, how do we bring about the new paradigm? And I do believe that my life will be easier if my dad dies, because I don't feel comfortable going over to the family home. Um, and it would be nice to go to the family home and to have that as a resource for myself to like land there sometimes or have a place to stay. But my dad is there, and when we get near each other, there's violent explosions.
Mm.
So for me, I don't think the violent explosions actually help his evolution of consciousness. This is what has happened when I brought the Kali energy. The like it felt it was destructive, but it really like hurt me as much as it hurt him.
Yeah, of course.
Um this so like because yeah, I mean, let's talk about the patriarchy and corruption. Like, let's look inside of our own homes. We got to start there. I saw this beautiful exhibit in Oaxaca City made by Mexican women, and it said, like, "Oh yeah, all you feminists out there, like shouting in the streets, like start by shouting in your own homes." And
Hmm.
so since then, I've been like really careful to really take that to heart and like correct where I can when I see things like in my immediate reality, because that's where it starts. Like, nobody's going to listen to someone shouting in the street. I mean, especially a man who's chauvinistic.
Exactly.
So if it's coming from inside the house. So in my case, the structure of my family is very oppressive, chauvinistic, patriarchal. And so when I bring my light is simply information, more awareness, expanded being. This is very disruptive and violent. It's like taking a sword to their foundation and like destroying it and cutting it up and like allowing more light to come through. But for me to do that, it's like it tears me up too. It's like, oh my, I have to be the vessel for that to come through. And it's not easy.
No.
So, and then I also caused a hurricane one time, and I had to be front center for it. So I try to, instead of like imagining cutting people's heads off, because like, what if you actually did have to cut someone's head off? It wouldn't be very nice.
No, no, exactly. But that was the whole point of the conversation. It was like, obviously, it's not something that I want to do, but if it was righteous enough and it would be saving children, because that's what I know I'm here for, then I would do it. Like you hear about these war situations and things, and it's just sort of like, would you actually stop somebody who you could see the evil in? I can see when people are evil and not
But
right.
where does the energy go? Like when they die, where does it go? It has anything.
Well, that's another story, right? And that's something that you'd have to deal with, right? Because energy can't be created or destroyed. That's something that would be part of your soul contract to deal with. The whole premise of the discussion was, would you be able to do it? Because you might have to, because this is a spiritual war. That was the whole thing. I'm not looking to cut anybody's heads off, obviously. That's literally the last thing I want to do, is to hurt anybody. Like, like the whole thought of it. Ugh. But if I had to save a child, I would. It was coming from that thing, because like I haven't given birth in this lifetime, but it was coming from that thing. I have enough of that mother energy in me to protect the children. That's literally why I'm still doing what I'm doing. This is all about saving the children. All of it.
Hmm.
They deserve to be nurtured and brought onto this earth without having to deal with the bullshit and trauma that we've had to deal with. What the fuck? Literally, what the fuck? This beautiful life needs to be nurtured. That's why I'm here. And yes, I would do anything to protect a child. Just would. Like, I had one not too long ago, probably about 6 months ago. I was just walking down the street one day, and this little one, like barely walking, maybe about 18 months, 2 years old, in a diaper and in a nappy, like just runs out into the middle of the road, like, and I was like, huh? And so I like ran out. Luckily, there was no cars, and I ran out and picked him up, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then the mother comes out, grabs him, and then just walks back in. Didn't say a word. I mean, obviously, she must have been really fucking stressed, but didn't even say thank you. I literally saved her child. Like, and it freaked me out. It freaked me out, but I'm like, I couldn't help it. There was this baby literally about to die.